And here we are, traveling on the train down to Falmouth to pick up my ship. That was my mum. We're traveling down the beautiful Tacoma Valley now. Some quite beautiful scenery around here, traveling along the Tacoma. And there's my ship, the Merchant Baron, in Falmouth Dock. That's one of my crewmates on board. We're getting ready to sail. There we are now, and started taking in the line, and now we are at sea, going into the Bay of Biscay, where there's a severe gale blowing up and the ship is tossing and turning all over the place. I didn't get seasick though. The waves are breaking over the ship. As you can see, the decks are awash. This is unusual because the ship is light ship, quite high in the water. Shortly we'll be leaving the Bay of Biscay and entering the Mediterranean, where the weather will improve quite a lot. You can see how the other ships there are being tossed around. The seagulls looking for food. And we're now down off Turkey in the Dardanelles. We will sail through the Dardanelles into the Bosphorus, where you see Istanbul. A lot of mosques there. That's what they call the citadel. My crewmates are having a look at the site, Istanbul. This is a local fishing boat coming in, night fishing. Another one of my crewmates there, and that was the bosun. As you can see, the weather is much improved now. The sea is calm, even a rainbow out. The deep blue Mediterranean. We're going to the Caspian Sea to Romania. Mates looking around. There they are working on deck. That's the carpet being washed. And there they are. They're working on some fire extinguishers there now to because the fire extinguishers are very important on board a tanker. Laying away there, tightening up the fire extinguisher. They're all working. The men going out to work. You can see the decks are all... There's one of my crewmates who fancies himself. He isn't gay though. Checking on the time, all red with rust. Stop and repainting them. See, he's still pitching around a little bit there. Off compared to what it was earlier on. There's one of the watchkeepers who's off watch now, having a bit of a line. And there's his mate who's also off watch, having a bit of a read and relaxing in the sun. Coming in now, they'll be coming in to Smoko now. It's my job to see the teas made and that, because I'm just a lowly deck boy on this ship. There they are coming in for their cup of tea. It's quite hot, the sun is really bright and strong. It's really too bright for filming. bosun coming in. He's in charge of the deck crew. There's me on the poop deck, having a bit of a suntan. I got a break now. Now they've had their tea. It's my turn to have a rest. And here we are, Romania now. We're up in the Caspian Sea off Romania. That's a Russian cargo boat there. Because in the 50s, Romania was part of the USSR. That's the Romanian Navy there, and 3 frigates and a destroyer. Not much of a navy. I could have been shot for filming this if I'd have been caught. There's a Greek tanker that's bringing oil into Romania. That's a fishing boat. We're now traveling through the Suez Canal. You can see there's some very, very wealthy property along the Suez Canal there, despite the poverty in the country. Coming along now, and the other side you can see poverty, shacks. And then there's a luxury resort where NASA used to stay. And here we are anchored in the Great Lakes. There's a Niarchos tanker that's loaded right down with fuel. The opposite way to us, you'll be going up into the Mediterranean. We're going down into the Red Sea. Some of them full and some of them are empty. There's an Arab dhow. Ships are now getting up steam, ready to complete the journey through the canal. We have to split here because some ships are coming up and some are going down. And the crossover takes place. The water's very salty here, and also it's very good for fishing. And we're now getting up steam. Sail the rest of the way through the Suez Canal on our way to Aden. Here we are now tying up in Aden, where we'll all be going for a drink. And here we are in the town, city of Aden. It's a free port, Aden, in those days, and it belonged to the British. There I am with my Liverpool having a lager. You can see it's a lot of desert and scrub here, just a few trees. You can tell by the... just having a good lager there. And now they're walking down to the shops to see what we can buy, because things are very cheap in Aden. In fact, I bought a camera, movie camera here. These were the first shots I ever took. There's the British Royal Navy in here. And there's me there walking up towards the camera. Handsome man there. Tell by the cars how old, how long ago it is. 50 years old, this film. There's the BP refinery. There's a little Arab boy with... We're now travelling along to the steamer point where the ship's anchored, passing the RAF station in Aden. The British were everywhere in Aden in those days, because now it belongs to the Yemen. This is quite fast travelling along here, which was very fast in those days. Most cars wouldn't do much over 50. See how it's barren desert, sand all around here. There's a camel filmed in slow motion, British Land Rover. They haven't changed much, have they? 50 years. You can see some palm trees there flashing by. You can see the desert and shrub. There we're arriving at the loading of oil, and there's my ship anchored. You some of the crew on board larking around. That's me. We'll soon be getting ready to sail. We're off across the other side of the Red Sea to Djibouti, French colony in those days, East Africa. Even over here, this goat, little African boy. You can see the luxury cars, and then the next minute, donkey and cart going by. Extremes of poverty and wealth. We're traveling to the doctors to have inoculations to prevent us from getting illness. We're now up the Persian Gulf. This is Kuwait, a place called Mina, Amardi, where the big oil port for Kuwait. This is Saddam Hussein sat on fire. There's some of my crew coming back to the ship. Probably been ashore for a drink. We weren't allowed out into the town of Kuwait in those days. There's my ship all anchored up, loading with oil. There's the crew on board our ship. They've been treating the rust with red lead and painting over it. The water is very rough on metalwork on the ship, on every trip. There's some engineer officers working on deck. There's another one of my crewmates doing a bit of painting. There's a couple of engineer officers who've just come up from the engine room. There's a steward who's heading forward with some food. And there's my friends coming out to go ashore to the Seamen's Club to go and have a drink. A couple of them in a bit of a hurry. We had to slow them down a bit. I used to experiment a lot with tricks dolphins. And that's the opposite effect. You can't wait to get ashore. There's a scene of the bridge. You see the mast there. You'll see me up the top of that mast shortly. There's the officers coming back to the ship, get ready for sailing. And we're back at sea now. We're on our way to good old US of A, near Seattle, a place called Tacoma, which is off Vancouver Island. It's quite a big tanker, this, 48,000 tons. She was the biggest ship-based tanker company, BP. Here's me climbing up the mast with a red ensign flying and the BP flag. Daredevil in those days. You wouldn't catch other people doing that. They'd have to have a ladder and bosun's chair to get up the mast. And shortly we're in Tacoma now. That was Mount Rainier. See Mount Rainier in the distance there. And here we are going into Tacoma in a yellow cab, crossing over the Tacoma Bridge. It's the replacement for the one that blew down when the wind blew, because it was badly designed. It's actually snowing here now because we're well north. It's only just over the border from Canada. Tacoma. And here we are back on the ship, having a bit of fun playing the guitar, singing some country music. And here we are loading up with grain, with wheat actually. It's being taken, we're taking wheat to India because of a famine there. We're taking 35,000 tons of wheat to, we are downtown Tacoma at night, going out for a drink. That's the local television transmitter. And there you can see the neon lights at Tacoma at night. It's a bowling alley on the right there. And here we are on deck the next day getting ready to sail. Leaving the docks, and we're now back at sea. And we're heading into a hurricane. This was the worst weather I experienced in all my time at sea. Got really rough, 40 feet high waves. It doesn't look that bad. Well above the waves, we're quite high up, and you need to get low down to be able to see how high they are. But you can see the way the ship's being tossed around, how big they are in a minute. Crashing through them, you can see how much it's topping. And it was so bad that when we arrived in Bombay, we had to have a lot of repairs done. Here we are in Bombay, as some homes to a boy. You can see the local electric trams, which is far more ecological in those days than they are today. Bombay is changed out of all recognition today. There's a cargo boat coming in to dock. Ready to... Where we are unloading our wheat here. And there you can see vultures flying around looking for anything they can eat. It's not unusual to see dead bodies in the street. And there's the pumpman getting ready to sail. Here we are now, we're in Osaka docks in Japan, the shipbuilding yard. There's a tugboat towing a barge. They were there even in those days, back in the 1960s this was. Quite a lot of small boats around. A lot of derricks and cranes in the shipyard. Busy people, the Japanese. There's a small fishing boat coming in. There's one of my crewmates on his way ashore. There they are welding in the shipyard, building ships and oil pipelines. This is Osaka at night now. The neon lights of Osaka. Not very clear because the film that I had was not fast enough. It didn't have very fast film in those days. And soon I'll be getting into a taxi, traveling at night in the Japanese taxi is a nightmare. They'll cross over to the other carriageway if the road has got too much traffic on it. Here we are traveling in the taxi at night. See the headlights of the cars coming towards us. Not supposed to be in that lane, it's supposed to be in the other lane. And here we are the next day in the docks. Going to meet my girlfriend. There she is. Didn't have any trouble getting women in those days. There we are in Osaka, traveling on a bus through the town. The city, you can see some ramshackle houses. They still haven't completely built from the war in those. There's me with my girlfriend. And now I'm on the bullet train traveling to Tokyo to catch the plane to go home. That's Mount Fuji there. And we're about to go through Kyoto. There's the Great Buddha at Kyoto. We'll shortly be arriving at Tokyo Airport. And here we are at Tokyo Airport. Quite a lot of flowers around. Chrysanthemum is the Japanese traditional flower. There's our plane starting up, going down the runway, getting up speed, ready to take off. Any minute now we'll be up in the air. And there we go, up we come, up the runway, we're airborne. Looking down on the ground from the airplane. These planes only travel at 200 miles an hour. It took a week to get home altogether because of bad weather. There's another plane flying by. And there's a volcano, an active volcano in Japan, if you're flying over. And there you can see Mount Fuji from the air. Mount Fuji. Here we are in the plane cruising towards Southend Airport. And here we are now, I'm on the train traveling from filmed this in slow motion because the train was doing 100 miles an hour. They were all steam trains in those days. It only took a couple of seconds to pass the two trains. Here we are traveling down through Wiltshire and Somerset. Very flat land around here. And there's the local train passing Kelstock Church, taking me up to Gunner's Lake Station. Steam train, quite slow, very steep hill. We'll shortly be arriving at Gunners Lake Station. Be picked up to be taken home. And there we are at home, and there's my cat welcoming me, and there's my sister, my little sister. All pleased to see me, and there's my pigeon. There's mother's budgigar. There's a fireworks display to welcome me home. There's all my relations showing off. My knife throwing act. Little bit of trick photography here. Showing off my shooting skills there. And coming in with my brother there. Just been out shooting, dog shooting. And there I come, and that's the end of my little story there.